Don't waste any time. This is time management. It's all the considerations that you need to make before you go into your class so that you don't waste any time and other people don't waste time for you. So it's engaging your athletes and leadership. In this session, we're going to go through pre-class preparation, class planning considerations, and then the homework. So pre-class preparation. First thing you got to do is just be early for class. Like, arrive before everybody else. If you are coaching the same class day in, day out, and you know that there's somebody that arrives to that class and they're always 15 minutes early, you need to be 16 minutes early. You need to be there before them. Another good thing to think about is if somebody arrives 15 minutes early and they probably want to talk to you. So if they want to talk to you, you need to make sure that you're ready and free to talk to them. So if you have anything that you need to do before the class, you need to do it before they arrive. If people start arriving and you're rushing around the floor trying to get everything organised, it's just not good practice. So try and get there earlier than everybody and try be ready before the first person arrives. And I know in some cases that might not be possible. But if you're working at the gym all day and you've got a class at, let's say, 5:30 p.m., and you're upstairs in the office or you're upstairs in the kitchen having lunch or wherever, there might not be upstairs, you're in the back room having it in the office or in the kitchen or whatever. But don't wait until class to go down. Get yourself organised. Be ready and be down on the floor ready for people to arrive. So being 20 minutes early and arriving before everybody else. Go into the class plan. So I think that goes without saying. If you're on this program, you're already doing your class plans. If not, you should be. And your class planning template is there. Never ever go to a class without a plan. You might look at a workout and say, you know what, I have this, I don't need to go with a plan. You do. You always need to go with a plan because there will be something that you don't consider. There will be something that you don't think about. And then you're in the class and you're a bit like, oh, I didn't think about this. And then all of a sudden, I had no plan, so it's my own fault. Now I'm failing. All right. Lay out the equipment in the way you need it. This is massive. So you see this picture here, the gym floor is empty on the right hand side. So that is beautiful, nice and clear space. And like if the workout was, let's say, shuttle runs and burpees, perfect. However, if the workout was, lay out the equipment that you need. There's going to be certain pieces of equipment you cannot lay out. So there's going to be like barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, weighted equipment that you don't know what the variation of athlete, you don't know the variation of gender, you don't know who's going to be in the class, so you won't be able to lay out that equipment. But there is certain things you can lay out. You can lay out ergs, you can lay out ab mats, you can lay out handstand push-up stations, you can lay out boxes, you can lay out other things are escaping my mind right now, but there's definitely equipment you can lay out that everybody's going to need and everybody's going to use on certain days. So if you can lay it out, do. Then the layout structure of the class doesn't need to be the same every time. So if you've got just a rowing workout and the rowers usually face this direction, they don't have to face that direction every time. Changing it up engages your athletes more. It sparks an interest. They walk in, they're like, oh, that's different. So it just changes the mood in the room, and then they want to pay attention to you more because it's different layout. Okay, you'd be surprised how much that impacts the class. If you're a competitive athlete, you've probably walked into a competition floor and been like, oh, that looks daily, I can't wait to get started. That's the same feeling that I like to have every time I go into a class. If I lay out the room differently, everybody walks in and is like, oh, it's different today. This is exciting, So think about changing the room layout often. If you generally coach a class standing in one position, how about flip it? Go down the other end of the class and coach from the other direction at some point. Or go to the side and coach from there. You don't have to coach in the same position every time. You don't have to lay out the same equipment in the same positions or same order every time. Try and vary it as often as possible. Varying that up means it's a little bit more interesting and more engaging for the athletes. The first note I had there, not too spread out if it's a big space. So this is a big space in the gym, right? And imagine we have a chipper workout and you're moving down the floor and you're going from box jumps to rowers to barbells to dumbbells to sit-ups, whatever it is. If that's a big, wide, massive spread down the whole gym floor, it just takes away the atmosphere. And it makes it more difficult to coach, makes it more difficult to create that engagement, that atmosphere in the class. So only spread it out as much as you need to. Don't go too big. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, consider what they need to see. Consider the direction people need to move. if we're doing a chipper workout, they probably want to progress down the floor. They don't want to have to go down and back and all the way down to the end and then back to the middle and move through that way. It's like have things laid out in the order that they're in. Even if you have to start in the middle, work down to the end and then flip back to the very top, depending. It could be rig work or wall work. And if the wall is in the middle of the work, at the start of the workout, you can start from the wall and move through. If the wall is in the middle of the workout, you might start at the far end, work towards the wall, and then finish at the other end. So it's just like, have a consideration of the layout of the room. Try not to get people moving back and forward. Think about transitions as well. If they have to work, let's say it's the rig is wall mounted and you've got to go from barbells to the rig. Are people traveling more distance than others? Can you get everybody a little bit closer? Can you spread out barbells, for instance, in a different order just to get people closer to the rig? Is there, just different considerations like that. So always think a little bit further than just this is what we normally do. Think a bit different. What can I do differently today? What is the workout? What is the flow? What is the direction? What are the transitions? How can I organize this in a little bit better way that's just different for people? And that should be done before the class starts, before people arrive, so that when they walk in, they get that reaction. Have your music pre-chosen based on the workout style. So like this is not set in stone by any means. This is just what I like to follow. I like to follow chart music for steady pace workouts. So if I'm doing a steady pace workout, I want music that I could potentially sing along to if I wanted to, if I wasn't working too fast. So I wanted chart music with words. A personal favourite of mine is old school hip hop and R&B. I like that genre of music. I like that style of music. I like that age of music. It's like 90s, early 2000s hip hop and R&B, and they're just easy to listen to, sing along tunes. Now I only choose that when I know who is in my class, because some of the language is inappropriate. So I'll make sure I choose that on days when I'm sure I'm okay with it. Right, other days then I'll just lose like top 50 or something like that off Spotify, preloaded playlists. I always use preloaded playlists. I never make my own. Not that I'm lazy, not that anything else. I just like, here, look, the preloaded playlists are there. It's absolutely fine. And I can just search what's already in use. Then if I'm going for sprint intervals or sprint workout or intervals or something fast, I'll choose electronic dance music, EDM or trance or something a little bit more upbeat. Zach Wild is a CrossFit DJ. He is on Mixcloud. So if you go to Mixcloud, type in Zach Wild, Z-A-K-K Wild, W-I-L-D. He has some really good playlists there for CrossFit music. And I go there a lot for a lot of my classes if I'm not using Spotify. Rock, I would generally use for ollie lifting. So that's where ollie lifting, cleans and snatches, you might have a little bit of downtime between. And rock music, my favorite playlist is on Spotify. It's called The Rock Workout, really simple, preloaded by Spotify, and has some really good rock music, but they're also sing-along songs, so it's easy. It gives you a little bit of a kick when you go to lift, but during your lifting you can kind of like bop away, and it just sets a nice tone for the class and in the room. Okay, powerlifting days like squats and deadlifts, where it requires a lot of like getting people psyched up for a heavy barbell, I go heavy metal. And with the heavy metal, I make sure that I don't have it playing for the full time. I turn it on when the workout starts. So when the heavy lifting is properly starting, let's say it's a 5x5 squats and it takes 20 minutes to do 5x5, I'll turn it on for them 20 minutes. I won't put it on for the full hour. I'll also lower it down when nobody's lifting. So I'll pay attention to who's lifting and who's not lifting. And when somebody is lifting, I'll ramp it up, get the place going. And when people aren't lifting, lower it right down so people can talk to each other. Nobody wants to be like for the whole 20 minutes of not lifting. It's just, it becomes too much, and then it takes away the impact of the music if it's on all the time. All right, so have your music pre-chosen based on your workout style. Okay, have the timer ready. This is like a pet peeve for me when I see coaches just come into a class and they stick on a timer counting up in from zero all the way through. I'm just like, no. I want to know how much is on the clock. I want to know when I'm resting. I want to know how long I've got left. I don't want to have to be doing maths. I don't want to have to figure it all out. I don't want a running clock. Ever do I want a running clock. That's my preference, and that's how I coach, and I think it's a good practice for a lot of coaches to get into. is having the timer ready and nearby. Different types of clocks that you can have ready: EMOMs, tablets, intervals, different work rest ratios, timers up and timers down. So why would you use these different things? So if you're doing an EMOM, it saves you having to call the minute every minute. If you set the clock for EMOM, so it's every minute, then the clock will beep. Generally, a lot of clocks give you a 3, 2, 1, so it's beep, 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 and they'll go every minute like that. Perfect. That's what you want, so you don't have to be constantly checking. You can just worry about the coaching then, and you're not turning into a timekeeper. Then tablet interval, same deal. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You don't want to have to be shouting the 20 seconds and the 10 seconds. Get it set up, let the clock do the job, and just get people to look at the clock. Then interval workouts. Set the work, set the rest. If you're doing 3 minutes of work, 1 minute rest, or 1 minute work, 3 minutes rest, set it up on the clock. Use the H1s, the H2s, the rest intervals, and get it set so that you don't need to worry about it. They don't need to worry about it. It's all there on the screen, and then it's just done. It's gone. Set the amount of intervals you're going to do. Timer up. So for time workouts, so if you've got a workout like Fran, 21, 15, 9, thrusters and pull-ups, put it timer up. So start at 0 and get it just to go up. If you've got a time cap, set the time cap. If you don't have a time cap, just let it run. All right. But have it counting up. It's for time. You don't want to have people having to figure out what their time is because you set the counter timing down and it's got to calculate. Yes, we make mistakes. That's fine. But if you're prepped enough, you won't make that mistake. Okay. Timer down. So set the timer to count down for the AMRAP. So if you're doing like Cindy and you've got 20 minutes on the clock to do as many rounds and rests as possible of 5, 10 and 15, set the timer for 20 counting down. Like, yeah, for Cindy, you might want to know counting up so you can see if you're getting your time on the minute every minute or whatever it might be within the minute. But for AMRAPs, I like to know how long I've got left. And I look at the clock, cool, I have 12 minutes left. Cool, I have 7 minutes left daily. And I just glance at the clock and I don't have to say like, 12 minutes gone, that means I've got 8 minutes left. I make that calculation. Quick glance, done, daily. So timer down. So have your timers prepped. So if you're doing an interval or an EMOM or anything like that, set it before you start the class, know how to set it, and then you can just reset it during the class if you need to, or you can just hit go, depending on the timer, the clock that you have. Have your whiteboard ready. So your workout is generally the first thing that's on the whiteboard, and it's generally the thing that's always on the whiteboard, so that's fine. If you don't use whiteboards, same thing. If you use a screen, because you probably use something, make sure whatever you need is there and is ready to go so that you can save some time. If you've got like this is an image that I drew about intensity, and it's getting as close to the cliff edge as possible without dying off. It's like threshold. So if you go above the threshold, you're going to fall off the cliff. If you are too far away from the threshold, you're a little guy in the blue there standing miles away, but we can't be smile on his face. Whereas you want to be right on the threshold, it's right on the edge of your capacity, pushing that limit all the time, where you could go one step too far and you're falling off the cliff. So it's like, be the fella in the black, be that fella right on the edge, find that threshold. So I didn't want to have to draw that in the middle of the class because it would just waste of time. So I draw beforehand. People aren't going to know what it is. They're going to look at it and be like, what's that picture there for? Cool, they might get distracted, but you just say, here, look, don't worry about that picture. I'll talk about it later. And it's there, it's ready to talk about. Okay? Warm up, if you have a little bit of a more complex warm up, or you just want to write it on the whiteboard for people to see, get that up there before class. Don't write it up as you're about to start. So have your whiteboard ready, whatever you need, quotes, graphs, you name it, have it there ready to go before the class starts. So here's your pre-class checklist so that you can save time. Get in early, be prepped, have the room laid out, have a plan, have your whiteboard ready, have your timer ready, and have your music ready. Get all them things in place before your class starts, and it's going to save you time. Class planning considerations. All right, so factoring in the dead time. So when you're doing the details part of your class plan, where you're fitting in, or this is what I want to coach, this is how I want to say it, this is the learning style, this is the teaching style, this is my layering with focus points, you also have to factor in the dead time. And there's going to be dead time in a class where you haven't considered. And if you don't consider it, that's where you're like going, how am I 5 minutes late? Like everything was marked down to the T. I've got everything set, dotted the I's, crossed the T's, we're all set, and now I'm 5 minutes late. I don't understand. And it's because of these things. It's probably because you haven't factored in this dead time. So getting equipment. So if you've got ab mats, dumbbells and barbells, if you coach in the class and you're getting them to get that stuff as you go throughout the class, That could be 3 minutes to go get an hand mat, 4 minutes to go and get your barbell, 3 minutes to go and get your dumbbells, and all of a sudden there's 10 minutes gone. Whereas if you said to the start of class, you've got 5 minutes, I'm putting the timer on, you've got 5 minutes to be ready. This is what you need. Bang, 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 go get it. Put it here, here, and here. Tell them where to lay it out. That can probably save you 5 minutes. And then you just work through the class in their stations and you can have all their equipment there. The other thing is that you might consider is, let's say you're doing devil's press and it's 2 22.5s for men and 2 15s for women. And you said to them at the start of class, all right, everybody go get 2 light dumbbells. You're going to do those lighter dumbbells for the coaching section of the class for the specific warm-up. And then you go through that and it takes them 3 minutes to go get their light dumbbells. Maybe 4, right? So 4 minutes are gone already. Then you do the coaching of the devil's press with the lighter dumbbells. And you say, okay, now go get your workout weight dumbbells. And they go get their workout weight dumbbells. And that could take another 4 minutes. All of a sudden, that's 8 minutes just to get dumbbells. Another way to think about it, if you're sure, and that could be fine. Like, that could be absolutely fine if you've got the time for it, right? Because you might just have, let's say it's a devil's press running workout. And it's a 15-minute AMRAP. You've got loads of time there for that. And that's absolutely fine, no problem. Gives them an opportunity to talk to each other as well, right? But what if you don't have time and you've got a 40-minute workout and it's devil's press and loads of other stuff, and you're like, I want to get some coaching on devil's press, I need to get them moving, but I also don't have 8 minutes to spare for them to get 2 sets of dumbbells. Then what you could do is say, all right, we're going to go straight to workout weight dumbbells for the devil's press. Go get them now. Cool. I go over and get 2 22.5s. In the specific warm then, the coaching of it, start with 1 dumbbell. Just go single arm to start, rather than going double arm, because this might be just too heavy to start with. So start with the single arm, get some coaching, a few reps, a few progressions, whatever it might be, layering options, and then layer in the second dumbbell and you can work that way. That might save you a little bit of time, and you can get straight to that workout weight. Other things to factor in: grips, belts, and lifting shoes. So like if you're doing a gymnastics day, you've got power cleans and toaster bar, and you've just finished coaching your power cleans and you've got like 15 minutes before the workout starts and you need to coach some toaster bar, and you're like, okay, well, I'm factoring in 15 minutes for toaster bar. You're not, because as soon as you say, all right, we're going to go to the rig, we're going to do some toaster bar practice, whew, everybody disappears to go get their grips. And now all of a sudden you're like, great, I can't do anything because I've nobody left in the class. They're all going to get their grips. How long does it take? Somebody has to go to the change room. The change room could be upstairs, it could be downstairs, it could be down the back of the gym. While they're going to get their grips, they said, oh, here, look, I might as well go to the toilet, and I'm gone as well. And then all of a sudden another 5 minutes is gone. You've lost 5 minutes out of nowhere and you're 5 minutes late again. So the other thing to consider is their personal equipment outside of the dumbbells, barbells, ab mats, boxes, all that kind of stuff. It's like, we're doing toaster bar today. In this 5 minutes, get your grips. We're doing weightlifting. If you've got a belt and you want to wear it, grab it. If you're wearing lifting shoes, get them on you now. Like, give them that time, factor it in, and then make sure you're not late because of it. Toilet breaks, another one. Toilet breaks is dependent, right? So I know some gyms only have 1 toilet and they've class capacity of 16. And if you said it's double unders and you've got a class full of 12 females and 4 men, 12 females are probably going to need to go to the toilet before double under day. So it's like, I've only got 1 toilet, I've got double unders, oh shit, I need to factor in toilet breaks. Like, you literally have to put aside time, 10 minutes for that. You could say, all right, before the workout starts, we're going to do a bit of practice here. Set a clock, 10 minutes of practice between power cleans, double unders, and burpees. In that time, while you're practicing movement, I'm going to go around and coach you, but I also want you to go and use the toilet if you need to use it. And then they all know instinctively that's like, okay, you're going first, I'll wait till you're done, and then you can wait till I'm done, and they'll all just filter into the toilet. But then be hard with that 10-minute cap. But you got to factor that in, toilet breaks. You got to put them in somewhere. If it's a day where it's like biking, sitting on a bike, and you're going to sit on the bike for 20 minutes, like, and you don't have time to fit in a toilet break, don't fit in a toilet break if you don't have to. Somebody needs to go to the toilet, they will go. You don't always have to factor in toilet break. Now, it's nice that you do, it's great, but if you haven't got time for it, or you know that it's going to end up bleeding into your class and you're going to end up late because of it, cut it out or build it in, one or the other. All right, so toilet breaks are something you definitely need to consider. A lot of dead time there. Beautiful. Workout considerations. So this is the bottom left-hand corner of your class planning template, and I have considerations. And these are the considerations that help you plan the class. So you should be thinking about these before you go into the details of the class plan. It's like all the left-hand side of your class planning template should be all covered. Do that first. Then take all that information and put it into your plan, because your plan should be easy then, because you've already considered everything. So here's some things that you need to consider. Multiple groups. So if you've got 5 rowers and you have a class of 10 people and you're doing intervals, you can't start all 10 people at the same time. You might have them starting at different groups. You might have one group starting on 0, the next group starting on 3 when their first group is finished. Or you might have 2 different workouts to do in interval style. One group starts on one workout, the other group starts on the other workout, and then they switch. Or you might have an EMOM, and you might have groups following in after the other. One starts on 0, one starts on 1, or they all start on 0 at different stations. Factor that in. How many groups are you going to have? Where are they all going to start? What times are they going to start on? Does it fit? Does it work? Like if you've got 2 groups and you've got different stations, are they ever going to collide? Are they ever going to get in each other's way? Is there never going to be enough equipment? If there's not going to be enough equipment, what's the solution? Do they move on and come back? Do they substitute in something? I have to think about that. They're considerations that you got to make, right? Staggered starts, I mentioned that already, like in the EMOM style, does one group start on 0, next group follows in on 0 or on 1 and follows the same format. If it's an AMRAP, a 20-minute AMRAP, and they need to share equipment, but you can get away with it in 3 groups, and one group starts on 0, next group starts on 1, next group starts on 2, and then everybody gets to do the workout as written. You preserve the workout stimulus, you preserve the movement stimulus, and don't have to substitute anything, don't have to change anything. It's the same class everybody else is doing, and you can just stagger the starts. Have a consideration, have a think about that to start. Transitions, is there loads of movement around the room? Do they have to move from barbell to rig to rower? Are they close by to each other? Like we talked about the layout. But think about the transitions. There's loads of transitions. If there's loads of transitions, is there going to be time lost in transitions? Can you build in some transition practice into the class? A sprint interval workout and you got to transition from the barbell to the rower. And you know people are going to take their time getting into the rower, so you teach them how to get in and out of the rower fast. That's a transition. So that's a consideration you make, but it's also something then that you go and coach in the class so you can get it done, you get it dealt with, so then you can keep the intensity high. Is there going to be bars dropping and athletes on the floor doing push-ups, sit-ups or burpees, etc.? So if we're doing clean and jerks and burpees, there was an open workout there a few years ago, 20.1, 19.1. 21.1, I can't remember what year it was, but it was the 0.1 anyway, and it was ground to overhead and burpee over bar. It was 10 and 8 or 8 and 10 for 10 rounds, and it was clean jerks and burpee over bar, or it was ground to overhead and burpee over bar. So if you've got people dropping barbells and there's other people doing burpees, you got to make sure you have that consideration that there's loads of enough space for people. You've also got to tell them that there's going to be somebody doing burpees on the ground, so don't just throw your bar down. Be mindful of the people around you. Also, if you're doing like push press and pull-ups, somebody's doing push press and somebody walks from the pull-up bar and they've got the bar on their shoulders, and all of a sudden they'll press as the person's walking by, bang, barbell catches the other person in the face or the chin as they're walking by. So have that consideration, mention it in the class. Here lads, you're going to be walking around the room, there's going to be people doing this, X, Y and Z. Just be aware of each other. Movement transitions and flow. We talked about the movement transitions. The flow of the workout is the layout. We talked about that earlier on. But these are the considerations you have to make before you do your plan so that you can figure out where everything goes. Room layout. Sorry, I've already mentioned that. I'm repeating myself now. And then anything new or unusual needs more coaching time. So if they're doing something new that needs more coaching time, like think about a movement that you coach very rarely, right? So like a wall facing handstand push-up or freestanding handstand push-up. They're 2 movements that are not coached that often, right? So if you're going to coach that and you're like, oh my God, I haven't coached this in like 6 months, it's going to be brand new to some people. So you're probably going to have to spend a little bit more time on it than normal. And it's also a high skill gymnastics movement, so you're really going to spend more time on it. That's a consideration you got to take into account. What about if you're doing a heavy back squat day? Do people know how to fail safely? They don't want to get stuck at the bottom of the back squat and be like, help! And they're stuck at the bottom, they don't know how to do it. You got to teach them how to fail. I always prefer to teach people how to fail than teach people how to spot. I think spotting, it's great, but I think spotting is only good for experienced athletes. I think spotting for inexperienced athletes is dangerous because they don't know how to do it properly. The person who's being spotted doesn't know how to use the spotters right. The spotters don't know how to safely do it. Like if you're doing bench press, for instance, you got to teach people how to spot a bench press. Like how to spot a bench press. Help them unrack the bar. Say, okay, it's your bar. You've got it ready. Cool. They've got it. My bar. Great. All right, lower it down, start to press out. They hit the sticky point and they're not moving. The temptation is to grab the bar and help them. You don't help the person on the bench until the bar starts to move back down towards the body. And even still, they might be able to save it. So you've got to be really cautious of not going in too early. And it's the same with the squat. Somebody might hit that sticking point, but they're going to drive through it. It might just take them a little bit longer. Don't just grab the bar and pull it up. It's like wait until the person's on the way back down, or the bar is like the weight is crushing them. So generally with spotting, it's if the bar is going up, right? So like back squats and bench press, for instance, if the bar is going back down, that's when you save the person, right? That's what you're trying to do. But I would always teach them how to fail. On a bench press, you can't fail. You need somebody to spot you. So you got to teach people how to spot there. Front squats, back squats from the floor. What if you're doing a workout and it's front squats and it's from the floor, not from the rack? You got to talk, at least mention to people that, yeah, I know you probably want to go heavy today and the stimulus is heavy, but it's going to be determined by how much you can power clean or squat clean or muscle clean. It's going to be determined by how much you can clean. So if you can't clean, you can't squat. But we're going to do some cleans just to get us prepared for it. Like obviously if they're doing front squats from the floor and you're teaching an all class, they're going to have to clean her up anyway, right? But it'd be nice to just touch on something if you've got the time. Excuse me. Back squats from the floor. So if you're coaching back squats from the floor, they got to get the bar from the floor to the front rack, over the head and onto the back of the shoulder safely before they can do the squats. When they finish the squats, they got to get the bar back from the back of the shoulders around to the front of the body and not just dump it off the back of the shoulders. So you got to teach that. You got to mention it. You got to give them time to practice it. Like that would be where I'm starting my back squat class. It's moving the bar, I'm cleaning it, I'm pressing it, I'm putting it on the back of the shoulders, I'm cushioning the landing, then I'm behind the neck, push, pressing it back over and then lowering it to the floor. Like that's where I'm starting my back squat class. I'm not starting it with back squats, building the weight and then saying, oh shit, you can't get on the back of your shoulders. I don't know what we're going to do. So that's another consideration I got to make. If I'm doing back squats on the floor, I got to get them there first. And that's going to take time. So I got to consider that in my class plan, and then I got to build my plan around it. Okay, so there's some workout considerations. We've got a few more. Priming for the workout. This is huge. So obviously if we're doing like the handstand stuff that I mentioned before, we got to do some sort of progressions. We got to do some scaling options built in there. We got to get them built up to it. We can't just say, all right, we're going to go to freestanding strict handstand push-ups. Let's go. It's like, no, I got to build in some progressions there first. I got to get them up to the point. Testers and how long does it take kind of fall under the same bracket, right? So testers could be, let's say you're doing Grace and you got 30 clean and jerks, 60 kilos for men, 42.5 for women, and you're saying, yeah, you should be able to do 5 unbroken at the weight to go RX today. We're going to use it for this stimulus. We got this tight time cap. We're looking for this nice speed. We don't want to go beyond 5 minutes. All right. So if that's what you're saying, then build a tester into your class. And it's like, okay, everyone will build to workout weight and we're going to do 5 reps. And if people don't do 5 reps, then, well, that bar's too heavy. All right, let's take it back down. How long does it take? Imagine you're doing an EMOM, and the EMOM is 25 kettlebell swings, 12 burpees, 20 pull-ups, something like that, right? And everyone just looks at the whiteboards like, there's no way I'm getting 25 kettlebell swings done in a minute. Me as the coach, I know you are. The programmer knows you are, but the athletes don't know they are. So you got to give them that belief that they can. So then do it in class. Build that into the class. And it's like, all right, we're going to do kettlebell swings. We're going to do 25 of them. You can do them at a lighter weight if you want. Or you could do, let's do 13 kettlebell swings. See how long it takes. So if they did a lighter weight kettlebell and they did 25 and it took them 50 seconds, like, oh, cool, that actually takes only 50 seconds, grand. Or if they did the lighter or had the workout weight and you did 13 reps and it took them 25 seconds, like, oh, double that is 50. All right, actually, I do have loads of time here. I didn't realize. So allowing them to feel out what the workout intensity is going to be, how fast they got to work, that's priming them for the workout and then getting their mindset right of what it should feel like and how heavy they can go and all that kind of thing. All right. Intensity. So this is what you need to figure out as well. If you've got a workout where you're going heavy day and we're going heavy deadlifts at 143 kilos for men, 100 kilos for women, and strict handstand push-ups, you got like a heavy Diana or something like that. It's like, okay, well, I got to give build time for people to get to the 143 or the 100 kilos. I can't just say, all right, we're starting in 3 minutes. It's like, no, I got to give them like 8 minutes. And in that 8 minutes, build your workout weight, practice some handstand push-ups, go to the toilet, get everything you need sorted, and we're going to start the workout in 8 minutes. Give them that time to get going. If it's a sprint workout, You got to build some sprint into the class. You can't just coach the movements and say, all right, 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. It's like, got to build some sprint pieces into the class. And that can be done quite easily with some layering. So let's say you've got air squats and sit-ups. You can say, all right, well, we got air squats and sit-ups. It's a sprint workout today. We're looking for a 1 minute sprint, how many rounds you can get. We're going to do, and you coach the air squat. Okay, let's go sprint the air squat. Let's see how long it takes us to do 5 reps. And bang, 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 do that. They've moved fast through the air squats. Then it's like you move on and coach the sit-up, and then they go and do some sit-ups. And you say, okay, let's move fast through the sit-ups. You get them to move fast through the sit-ups. All right, now we're going to combine the two movements together. Let's do some fast air squats into fast sit-ups. And now they've got some sprint pace interval training done before the workout starts. They've found some intensity, know how fast they can move. They've also got that first wind out of their system, and they're ready to go. Don't expect somebody to just dive into a sprint workout and go all guns blazing. Right? Smooth and slow, same thing. If the intensity is smooth and slow, build that into your class plan and coach that way. So have a smooth, slow warm-up plans, like a 4-minute AMRAP of a nice, easy pace. Don't be worried about moving too quickly. And then bring that same intensity through the rest of your class. And when the workout starts, they should be already in that zone. All right, so you got to think about all these things about priming for the workout and all the other considerations before you get into your class. And a lot of it is done in the planning phase, okay? So your homework this week, I want you to comment to the comments section of this video on Facebook. What stood out most for you about this section? Then I want you to do a pre-class checklist. So the pre-class checklist is there. It's in the previous pages. I want you to do a pre-class checklist. So before your class starts, do it. I want you to take a picture or a short video and post it to your stories, ready to go at Coach to Coach. So I want you to tag me and let me know that you've done your pre-class checklist before you've coached your next class or any class. There's your checklist. Get in early, have a plan, layout, whiteboard, timer, music. So if you want to get a short video of you setting the timer, if you want to get a short video of panning the room, if you want to get a short video or a picture of your whiteboard, whatever it might be, I just want you to take it and post it on Instagram stories, say ready to go, I'll coach to coach. Then I want you to factor your dead time into your class plan. So the next time you're going to coach, I want you to think about the dead time. Where am I going to lose time in this class? Where am I going to lose time because people are going to go to the toilet because it's double unders? People are going to need grips. People are going to need to change their kettlebells 3 times. People are going to load barbells. Like, where am I going to lose time? I want you to think about that before you do or during your class plan. And once you've coached the class, then I want you to debrief the dead time. So you're going to do a debrief and you're going to post it on the comments of the Facebook group. You're going to say, how much time did you factor in for X, Y, and Z? So I had to load barbells. I had to get them to go and get plates 4 times. I factored in 2 minutes per time. That was 8 minutes just to get weights. When I did it in the class, it actually took 12 minutes. I didn't realize how long it took. There's a little bit of debrief. This is how much time I factored in for what it was. It wasn't enough time. And if I was to do anything different in the future, I'd probably say to them, get all your plates at the start. There's an example. Okay. Plan workout considerations and send them to me for feedback. So your workout considerations, this is the bottom left-hand corner of your spreadsheet, of your class planning template. What are the considerations that you need to make for this workout? I want you to send me the workout and the considerations that you've made before you go into your class plan. So like this might be difficult, right? But if you think about today, let's say today is Monday and you've got a class on Thursday. I want you to look at that class workout and I want you to think about your considerations for that workout. Then you send them to me as soon as you've done them, the workout and the considerations, and then I'll give you feedback on it. Once I've given you feedback on it, then you can plan your class off it. All right, so if that's possible, do that. If it's not possible, we can do it in hindsight. It's not a big deal. It's just less of a training effect if you're doing it in hindsight, right? So try and plan your workout considerations, try and send it to me for feedback, and then try and build your plan off it. Don't go ahead and build a plan without getting the feedback off me, because there might be some considerations you've missed, and that's what the feedback is for, is to like make sure that you've covered all angles, tell you, but maybe that's not a consideration, maybe that's something different. So let's try and get that done as soon as you can as well. All right, thanks very much.